This video is for educational purposes only. This is an original content. There is no copyright infringement intended. It is a self-taught project on the topic corruption as manifestation of our core values. It is purely for academics purpose and there is no monetization hence associated. In case of copyright ownership issues, please contact the address given in the description below.
Hello everyone, we are Team Kalki and we are going to present our communication skills project on the topic corruption as a manifestation of core values.
First of all, we would like to thank our Institute NIT Raipur and our HOD of Department of Humanities and Social Science, Dr. Samir Bhajpai sir, and our Professor of Communication Skills, Dr. ANOOP Kumar TIWARI sir, for providing us this golden learning opportunity.
It provided us an exposure, experience, and insight on how to create a video with all the things required to make it more effective.
Our team has done a lot of hard work for making this video. Hope you all like it.
Now let us introduce ourselves. I am Prince Patel, first semester IT branch.
I am Purandhar, first semester IT branch.
I am Vishwanath, first semester IT branch.
I am BHAVNA SAHU, first semester IT branch.
I am Vignesh, first semester IT branch.
I am SONI, first semester IT branch.
Corruption. It's a word we hear often and we instinctively know that it's something bad, something we should avoid. From news, headlines exposing bribery scandals to movies depicting corporate greed, corruption is a term that's woven into very fabric of our discourse. But have we ever stopped to think about it where it comes truly? What does it really mean for something to be correct? And why does it persist in every corner of our societies, from the highest offices of government to smallest business? Corporate corruption is not just a problem that exists in isolation, that merely happens as a result of a few bad apples within a system. Deeper, more ingrained issues that are often tied to core values that define our society. It grows from the soil of our cultural, political, economic systems. These values, which are shaped by our history, social norms, and even by our aspirations, influence the decisions we make, the actions we take, and even what we pursue, what is wrong, what is right. What may seem like a simple act of dishonesty in one context might be viewed as necessary, even justified in another depending on the values that underpin it. When we talk about corruption, it's important to realize that it doesn't just manifest in one isolated form, nor does it affect only the public or private sector. It's a problem that exists every level of society and involves the very values of hold dear. Today we will dig deeper, peeling back the layers of explore and how corruption is deeply intertwined with the foundational values, how they contribute to its persistence, and what we can do. Corruption often thrives where values like success, power, individual gain are placed above the greater good. It is easy to overlook these subtle yet pervasive influences until we examine how our day-to-day choices, our societal structures, and even our cultural norms play a role creating an environment where corruption can flourish. The problem of corruption is not just one of legal violations or acts. Dishonestly, it's one of a misalignment between our professed values and behaviors we allow. By understanding these deeper connections, we can begin to rethink how we approach corruption, not just as a problem to be fixed with laws, but as a symptom of a larger cultural and societal imbalance. So, let's embark on this exploration of corruption, how it emerges from the values we hold, and more importantly, how we can confront these values head on in order to eradicate the systematic roots of corruption. Let's begin by understanding what corruption really means. Corruption is more than just giving or taking bribes. It's abuse of power for personal gain, whether in the form of bribery, nepotism, favoritism, or dishonest dealings. It's an erosion of the principles of justice, inequality, fairness, imagine a community where people regularly cut corners to gain advantages for themselves or their families. It sends the message that rather than following the rules, it's okay to cheat as long as you benefit. Corruption might seem a small act, a way to getting some done faster or to get what we believe we deserve. But what many of us forget is that these small acts build up. Foundation of our society. We are telling others that it's not integrity that matters, but power and money. It's important to understand that corruption is not just about a few bad people making poor decisions. It's something that can stem for cultural norms and the values we uphold, whether consciously or subconsciously. We need to recognize how our everyday actions contribute to this larger problem. People often justify corruption by saying everyone else is doing it. This is only way things work here. These justifications come from the values embedded in our society. If those values place family, loyalty or wealth above fairness, then corruption becomes normalized. But the reality is that normalization affects all of us, harming the economy, reducing trust in our institutions and creating barriers that do things ethically.
Let's take a closer look at some real-life examples of corruption and see how widespread the problem truly is.
A traffic police officer based in Nairobi who was captured in a now viral video allegedly soliciting bribes from motorists in Umoja area of Buruburu has been suspended.
In many countries, the practice of offering bribes to traffic police officers to avoid the consequences of a violation is alarmingly common. This behavior is driven by a mindset rooted in convenience. If I can pay my way out of this situation quickly and easily, why should I go through the trouble of facing the consequences? While this may seem like a harmless shortcut, it reveals a deeper problem: how personal convenience often takes precedence over respect for the law. This approach not only reflects a lack of accountability on the part of individuals, but also perpetuates a culture of corruption. By offering bribes, citizens encourage law of enforcement officials to accept such payments, reinforcing a cycle where corruption becomes normalized. Over time, this erodes the integrity of the system and where the rule of the law. Traffic police officers seeing bribes as an easy source of extract income may become more lenient in enforcing regulations, leading to a decline in overall public safety on the roads. Another common example of this phenomenon is seen in the education system. Many of us have witnessed instances where parents offer gifts or financial incentives to teachers, schools, administrators, or even college admissions officers in hopes of securing better grades, professional treatment, or an edge in gaining admission to prestigious school. This practice, too often motivated by a genuine desire to support their children's success and future, can have serious ethical implications. Parents may believe they are doing what is best for their child, but especially in a competitive academics environment, but when this support turns into financial leverage to gain an unfair advantage, it undermines the core values of education. When we talk about when parents use their wealth or connections to buy grades or secure spots in selective schools, it creates an environment where merit and hard work are no longer the primary factors in determining success. Instead, the emphasis shifts to who has the most resources or the strongest connections. This not only damages the trust in the education system, but also sends a harmful message to students. It tells them that their own effort and dedications are secondary to their family financial power, discouraging genuine learning and achievement. Ultimately, this behavior erodes the integrity of education, which should be based on equal opportunity and fairness for all. But the problem isn't just confined to these examples. Perhaps the most concerning aspect is that even educated people engaging in corruption. We often think education is the key to solving problems, but the reality is more complex. We see doctors accepting kickbacks to refer patients to certain pharmacies and engineers approving faculty construction to save cost, and government practices officially accepting bribes to ignore unethical practices. These are individuals who are well aware of the consequences of their actions, yet they still choose to partake in corruption.
Sir. Where is the doctor? It's an emergency.
Doctor sir is busy. What happened?
No, sir. Accident has become. It's an emergency. It's bleeding right now. Can you please
Oh,
contact
whatever accident doesn't matter. Doctor sir is busy. He can't meet you right now.
me? Sir, how much time it will take?
You can't meet him today. You can meet him tomorrow.
No, sir. Try to meet him. Sir. Try to contact with him. Once time.
Only 200.
Sir, please try. Take this, sir. Try to convince the doctor. So please, sir. It's an
Okay, sir,
emergency.
I will try. You can meet him after half an hour. You can sit there.
So please try once.
Okay, I can try.
As we have seen in the act that when educated individuals who are expected to understand and uphold the principles of integrity and ethics engage in corrupt practices, they send a damaging message to society. It suggests that even those who are aware of what is right and wrong are willing to sacrifice their values for personal advantage. This behavior not only undermines the trust but also fosters among those who strive to act ethically. As a result, others may begin to question the worth of acting with integrity, leading to a cycle of unethical behavior. This cycle becomes increasingly difficult to break as more individuals follow
Now
suit.
let us see scenario of an engineering student willing to take admission in an engineering college by giving bribe.
Today, Oscar-nominated actor Felicity Huffman and Full House actor Lori Loughlin were arrested, and they are just two of the 32 parents, including Loughlin's husband and other wealthy and influential people, criminally charged in a massive college admissions scandal involving 50 people across 6 states. At its center was a criminal enterprise, according to prosecutors, which employed cheating and bribery to get the children of well-paying parents into elite schools. The alleged ringleader, William Singer, the head of the college prep business, has pleaded guilty to all counts, including racketeering, conspiracy, and he is among several defendants who are cooperating with federal prosecutors.
Let's discuss the broader impact of corruption on our society as it infiltrates and erodes every aspect of our life. When corruption becomes normalized, public services which are meant to serve the common good end up with being controlled by those with wealth, connections, or willingness to pay extra. This inequality in access directly undermines the foundation principle of fairness and justice that hold a society together. Take for instance the case of a young talented student. For a humble background, this student has worked tirelessly dreaming of pursuing a career in engineering to contribute the nation's progress. However, they discover that admissions to the best institutions are not based on merit, but on the ability to pay tribes. Unable to afford such an expense, the students' hopes and aspirations are crushed. Their brilliance and potential are left untapped, a tragic loss not for them, but for the society as a whole. This scenario does not only affect individuals, it's a culture of mediocrity. When the systems rewards culture or mediocrity, dishonesty over merit, it discourages hard work and innovation. The chain reaction is devastating. Institutions lose credibility and people lose trust in the processes that were meant to uplift everyone. The young students represent countless efforts who face similar barriers, their dreams extinguished by a corrupt system. In the long term, a society bears the brunt of those losses, missing out on talented and progress that could have driven its development forward. Corruption in healthcare has some of the most devastating consequences imaginable. Picture this: a critically ill patient in urgent need of medical attention is turned away because someone else has bribed their way to front of the line. This is not just an example of injustice, it is life-threatening. Corruption in healthcare does not only delay access to essential treatments, it compromises the quality of care provided. Resources that should go toward improving medical facilities or training professionals are misused, leaving healthcare system underfunded and ineffective. This impact extends beyond hospitals, whether it's education, infrastructure, or any public service. Corruption threatens the safety and well-being of countless lives. One of the gravest effects of corruption is its ability to erode trust in public institutions. When people witness laws being bent for the powerful or wealthy, they lose faith in the every system meant to serve and protect them. Institutions like government, police, and judiciary become symbols for inequality and unfairness. This loss of trust leads to disengagement. Citizens stop reporting cities, avoid engaging in community activities, and grow apathetic about participating in democracy. The result is fragmented society, one where mistrust and resentment fuel a breakdown in social cohesion. Perhaps the worst impact of corruption is the message it sends to the future generation. This is how the world works. Young people witnessing bribery, favoritism, and dishonesty as the norm start to believe that success is achievable only through unethical means. This perpetuates a vicious cycle where integrity, hard work, and merit lose its value. If corruption continues unchecked, we risk raising a generation that views dishonesty and as expectation but as a standard operating procedure. It's not just institutions that suffering, it's the very fabric of society that brings to unravel.
Now let's talk about how core values plays a significant role in corruption. In many societies, core values that seems positive on the surface can become contributors to corruption when taken to an extreme. One such value is family loyalty. Supporting your family is an admirable value and we all want to help our loved ones. But what happens when that loyalty leads to nepotism? Imagine a public official in charge of hiring. They might choose to have a job to their cousin or siblings, not because that person is the best fit, but simply because they want to support them. This is where the line gets blurred.
Cash amounting to Rs 1 crore was seized by the Anti-Corruption Bureau officials in Telangana. Arva Balaraju Nagaraju, the Tehsildar of Kisara Mandal in Telangana's Medchal Malkajgiri district, was allegedly caught red-handed for accepting a bribe of Rs 1 crore. Two real estate developers or agents were also arrested, along with a village revenue assistant who was also present during the deal. According to ACB officials, the Tehsildar had allegedly demanded a bribe of Rs 2 crores from real estate dealers to settle a land dispute. Searches were also carried out at the Mandal Revenue Office.
This kind of behavior, while driven by love for family, ultimately hurts the system. It denies opportunities to those who are more qualified, creates inefficiency and erodes fairness. Think about the message it sends to others. If people start to believe that getting a job or a promotion depends on who you know rather than your skills and qualification, it undermines meritocracy and soon everyone wants to find connection instead of working on improving themselves. Another example is the value we place on wealth and social status. Many people respect those who have money without considering how that wealth was earned. This encourages people to take unethical shortcuts to achieve financial success. In many societies, having power and wealth means having status, and these beliefs drives people to use corruption as a means to an end. It's the idea that the end goal of having money and power justifies any means of getting there. This kind of environment creates a dangerous precedent. We are telling people, especially the younger generations, that the outcome is more important than the process. If we glorify wealth without questioning how it was gained, we'll end up with a system where corruption is almost seen as clever or admirable, instead of what it truly is, destructive and unethical. This sends ripples across the entire fabric of society, affecting everyone from students aspiring to get into colleges to a small business owner trying to make an honest living. Ultimately, we need to recognize how our values influence other actions and decisions. The desire to help loved one gain success or rise in social status isn't wrong. But when this desires outcomes at the cost of fairness and integrity, they contribute to corruption. It's time to rethink how we define success and what we teach future generations. True success is not just about wealth, power, or prestige. It's about how those achievements are earned. When we prioritize integrity, honesty, and fairness over shortcuts and unethical practices, we lay the foundation for a better society. Imagine if we celebrate the hard-working entrepreneur who succeeded through perseverance instead of the wealthy individual who took dishonest shortcuts. This shift in mind requires each of us to examine the values we practice and pass on. Children learn not from what we say, but from what they see. If they see dishonesty rewarded and fairness upheld, they will grow up believing in the importance of ethics. But if they see corruption normalized and praised, they will assume it's the only way forward. We must remind ourselves and the future generation that the process matters as much as the result. True success lies in upholding principles, creating opportunities for others, and building trust in society. By valuing integrity over quick gains, we can break the cycle of corruption and ensure a brighter, fairer future for all.
It is clear that corruption does not just stem from greed, it is fueled by our underlying values. But there is hope. If corruption comes from our values, then change can also start from there. We need to start transforming the values that our society holds. The first step is to promote integrity and accountability in all aspects of life. One of the most powerful places to begin the transformation is in the school. Educational institutes are more than just places for learning math or science. They are where children from their understanding of right and wrong. Introducing comprehensive ethics and courses which teach children about integrity, fairness, and the real cost of corruption can create a shift in mindset from the early age. Imagine a generation that grows up valuing honesty above all else, a generation that believes in the power of doing the right thing. It could change the entire trajectory of our society. Another critical solution is to bring about systematic reforms to reduce opportunities for corruption. Our practical approach is implementing e-governance. When processes like license application, land registration, and tax submission become transparent and digitized, it eliminates the needs under the table payments. Transparency is key to reducing the power that officially holds to manipulate situations for personal gain. Think of countries that have successfully reduced corruption through digitalized initiatives. Many of them have seen not only reduced levels of corruption but also improved public trust in governance. Changing the values that drive corruption also requires a cultural shift in what we admire and celebrate. Today, many society place importance on material wealth and social status. We need to shift our admiration from wealth to fairness and integrity. Instead of celebrating those who own the most luxurious items, we should celebrate those who contribute to their community and who help others without accepting anything in return. People who volunteer, people who act ethically in challenging situations. These should be our role models. When society begins to admire integrity and empathy more than wealth, individuals will be less inclined to take unethical shortcuts for recognition. Additionally, empowering individuals to report corruption safely is crucial. Corruption often goes unchallenged because people fear retaliation. Systems need to be in place that allows people to report issue anomalies with real protection for whistleblowers. When individuals know that there is a safe way to speak out against corruption, they are more likely to do so. This kind of community accountability creates a culture where corruption is not tolerated.
Imagine being a young professional and facing pressure from your peers or even superior to act unethically. It takes immense strength to say no, but every time someone chooses integrity, they make difference not just in their lives, but its broader culture. They become role models showing others to the corruption It does not have to be the answer. In many ways, corruption is about taking its easy way out, but we need to teach ourselves and the next generation that the harder, more ethical path is one that leads to lasting the success of respect. Communities plays a crucial role. It's this changes, but communities that force openness, accountability, and mutual support can disturb it. Imagine community that actually works together to make decisions, where people have a voice in the governance of their locality, and transparency is prioritized at every level. Such communities makes it harder for corruption to take roots because people are involved, informed, and willing to take action when they face wrongdoing. It also is crucial for us to focus on next generation. We need to raise children who value honest empathy and justice for overwealth and power. Parents, teachers, and community leaders have a role in shaping these values. Children who are raised seeing ethical behavior as admired are fearless, like engage in corruption such as adults. This means leading by example, showing the integrity when no one is watching, and discussing openly why these values are important. Ultimate power to end the corruption lies each of us. We must make a conscious choice to be a part of solution rather than a contributor to problem. It's easy to feel powerless when we look at the scale of corruption, but real change starts. Individual actions, choosing not to pay a bribe, refusing to accept the favor that aren't diverse, standing up when we see injustice. Every small action matters. If enough people commit to these values, it creates a ripple effect that can change our entire society.
Now let us conclude on our topic corruption. Corruption erodes trust. Corruption weakens public trust in institutions meant to serve and protect, leading to societal disillusionment.
Corruption promotes inequality. It disproportionately affects the vulnerable, widening the gap between the privileged and the underprivileged.
Corruption hinders progress. Corruption diverts resources, stifling development in critical sectors like healthcare, education, and infrastructure.
Corruption requires collective action. Combating corruption demands strong laws, transparency, and active citizen engagement.
Corruption normalizes the unethical behavior. It fosters a culture where dishonesty and shortcuts become the accepted norm.
Corruption starts with integrity. True change begins when individuals refuse to participate in corrupt practices and advocate for accountability at all levels.
Corruption is not born in systems, it's nurtured in hearts.
Corruption is the tax we pay for ignoring accountability.
Change values and corruption loses its roots.
Corruption thrives, integrity dies.
Corruption, a mirror reflecting society's true values.
Grows where greed overshadows ethics.
Thank you for watching the video. Hope you all like it.
Correction.
The acceptable norms.
In many societies, core values. अरे यार सुनो ना, एक मैं उस बार बोले थे ना कि मैं ऊपर देख रही थी.